You can't expose what's already out in the open. Yet, time in, time out, day in, day out, week out, month comes, month goes, year in, year out, boxing writers, journalists, and boxing channels constantly come out with this fight has been exposed, that fight has been exposed. This is a hype job, that's a hype job. Let's talk about it here on BWTM Sports. Be right back with you in a moment. If you're watching this on Facebook, give the page a like. If you're watching this on YouTube, give the video a like. And if you're watching it on my page and my YouTube channel, Ingram Jones, welcome to the channel. And hey, Happy New Year to you. And smash the subscribe button. Be back with you in a moment. Okay, let's get into this one. So, exposed. Now, to me, when something is exposed, it's something that's not out in the open, it's not visible, and you are uncovering something. It is literally like you're exposing the truth. You are revealing something. You're telling us something that we don't already know. But yet, time and time again, we get these videos of boxing journalists, boxing writers, boxing media outlets, or just boxing critics that say fighters are exposed. I don't quite understand what they're getting at, because fundamentally, we have a problem in boxing. And that's what I really want to talk about today and sort of like lay a mark, because it's something I keep seeing all the time, and it's something I think needs to be addressed so that I don't have to say it again. So at least you know my standpoint on this. Boxing is a great sport, full of characters and great fights when they're made. And, you know, no matter what seems to happen in sport, no matter what other controversy happens in the sport, no matter how many black eyes are in the sport, we get or bad decisions or poor stoppages or bad refereeing, we still seem to come back to the sport over and over again just to see that next great fight, just to see that next fight that's going to whet our appetite or meet the satisfaction. We, as boxing fans, let's be brutally honest, we are bloodthirsty. We want to see the knockout. We love the hype before a fight, the build up between two fighters don't particularly like one another. We love that. We love the competitive between two guys, or one guy who's the underdog who discovers or gets his dream to become world champion, or that fighter we follow from day one that goes on and becomes champion of the world. The upset in boxing, the guy that goes out and isn't expected to win the fight and is getting beaten and is behind on points and pulls out that shot. All great fights where it's competitive, back and forth. The Gatti Award comes to mind. Many others, Eric Morales, Tony Barrera, Riddick Bowe, Evander Holyfield. We could go on and on of many fights. And the fights we want to see in the future, we could talk about them all day long. So if you look on the screen earlier, let me bring up a picture of somebody on the screen. And this is where I'm kind of going with this. This man, Eddie Futch. There's nothing exposed about Eddie Futch apart from the fact he was a great trainer. A great trainer. Eddie Futch trained many world champions. And I hear many people talk about other trainers. Eddie Futch, a great trainer here. Things like Emmanuel Stewart pushed around all the time. Freddie Roach, and you keep bring out names, but this guy is a great trainer, and I think I'm going to do a series on great trainers. Eddie Futch, great trainer, and that's the sort of standard I'm talking about. in terms of trainer and guidance and mentorship. Great trainer, Eddie Futch there. One of the great fighters he worked with, Riddick, Big Daddy Bowl. But this is exactly the problem as well. Big Daddy Bowl trained a great fighter under Eddie Futch. But again, would use the word exposed. But because of his own eating habits and lack of discipline, even though when he became world champion, disciplined enough to become world champion, once he became world champion, became indisciplined, and basically ate himself out of their heavyweight division. Is that being exposed? I don't know. But this is why I've come to talk to you today. These are things that I do know about the sport of boxing, and there's nothing to be exposed about. That is corrupt, that there are people that cheat in the sport, that people are using PEDs, that there's poor judging, poor refereeing, hometown decisions, fighters that are decent, good, but not great, poor promotion, over-promotion, overhype, racism, biasness. Those are the things that are relevant in the sport of boxing. Poor tutelage, poor teachers, not many great teachers passing on the knowledge. Those are the things in boxing that is very evident and very open in the sport of boxing. And that's what I'm seeing. So when we talk about this fight has been exposed and that fight has been exposed, I don't hear anybody talking about poor management teams that are supposedly management teams that are meant to be guiding a fighter's career. What about those people getting exposed? Or promoters that force fighters into fights they're not ready for? What about exposing that? Or what about exposing the fact that fighters are getting underpaid or not getting paid at all? Or what about exposing trainers that are not that good, that constantly being flashing in the face on our television sets, talking a whole load of rubbish, and they're not very good trainers? Or they talk a very good game, but when you watch them on TV and you actually watch them studying in the corner, there's nobody really critiquing what those coaches are doing in the corner. Let's talk about that. Let's unveil. Let's reveal that. When we talk about exposed, let's talk about the commentary and the biased commentary and the biased presentations. Let's talk about that. Let's clearly talk about those things. And whether the boxing, the stringent drug testing in boxing, and how fighters who have been caught and have been banned, some fighters have been banned or suspended for X amount of time for like people like Povetkin and Jarron Miller. Well, Jarron Miller got banned for the same things that, Povetkin got banned for. But Povetkin came back and fought on pay-per-view shows. So can somebody explain that to me? Or Canelo. When we talk about exposed, these things were not exposed, and we're not really looking at these things. Lomachenko, when he was with Lomachenko and Crawford, both at top-ranked boxing. Both guys are top fighters. Crawford was an undisputed champion. Lomachenko has yet to become an undisputed champion. Crawford's never been beaten as a fighter. Lomachenko has been beaten twice as a fighter. But yet he gets high promotion. Why is that? But Crawford is the English-speaking fighter. Why is he getting less promotion than Lomachenko, who doesn't speak the greatest of English? Let's talk about those things. And we'll talk about exposure. Those things we're exposing. Don't give me gate prices. I don't care. Don't give me ticket prices. I don't care. Don't give me contracts. I don't care. What I care about in my sport is where it's going. Where is this sport going? Why are we allowing people like Jake Paul and people who cannot box to be able to get TV time? Why is this being allowed? Why is somebody not exposing these things in boxing? Why is people not exposing the lack of quality trainers that's coming through the ranks that we're giving TV time? Why are we not giving our true great trainers of this year, of this generation? Why are we not giving them more time? And Derek James, why are we not giving trainers like that more vision, more time? Or old school trainers that have proven themselves time and time again, and why people like Teddy Atlas keep coming up on our TV screen over and over again. I've done nothing. I've done nothing. in comparison to some of the great trainers that we have kept underground. Why are we not seeing more of these guys? And why are these trainers that have got so much experience and so much knowledge, why is that not being passed on? So when you come to me and talk about this fighter's exposed, when clearly they're not that good a fighter. A lot of these young guns we've got today, a lot of the young guns we've got today are all trying to be following the Floyd Mayweather footstep of greatness. They're trying to follow that. They're trying to walk and talk and act like Floyd, but they don't want to train like Floyd. They don't want to put it in the gym like Floyd, and they haven't got the training and background that Floyd had. Some of them don't even have the trainers. Some of them are just following what Floyd has done on TV, okay? What they see on the game, they should watch it and try and copy that. But you can't copy the original. You have to be original. There is only one Floyd Mayweather. Only one Floyd Mayweather. Even his Roger and all the other Mayweathers in the family are not as good as Floyd. They're not as good as Floyd. That is what it is. And then not just Floyd the fighter. Floyd, the way his career has been managed, the sort of fighters he fought, where he was going to put himself on the line. Look at Floyd's earlier career when he put himself on the line before he was making all that money. People just see, a lot of these fights, you seem to see Floyd, the money, at that point. They cut off the early part of his career when he was with Golden Boy. That time, let's look at that scene and Floyd coming through the ranks. Let's look at that. That's the Floyd Mayweather a lot of these young fighters need to be looking at. You coming out, you got the hot chick, the bling bling. Look at what Floyd was doing. If you really want to look at that, the dedication he put into the sport and the trophy the dynamics he had to deal with. A lot of these fighters are not doing that. They don't want to talk, act, and move like Floyd, but they don't want to put the work in like Floyd. They don't want to put it. They don't want to be the technicians that Floyd was. But yet they act like they're already there. They behave like they're already there. And it's okay to visualize or to even want to be there, but you've got to put the work in. You can see yourself if your name in lights. Some of you guys, I'm talking to some of you, know who you are. You know, you think your name's already in lights. You've been a couple of undercards and you think you're someone great. And then you get knocked on your ass. You don't want to talk to certain people. You think you made it. Then you get knocked in your ass because you're not putting the work in. You're not dedicated. You know, you fight once a year. You're not even a world champion. You fight once a year. You're not even a world champion. So you're not dedicated to the sport. And some of these world champions fight once, twice a year. I get it. When you're in the big money, you're taking the big super fights, like all the big fights. I get it. I understand. You need more time to prepare. I get that stuff. But even then, you look back in the older days, guys were still fighting 3, 4, 5 times a year. You look at Mike Tyson when he was in his prime, how regular Mike Tyson was fighting. People loved Mike for a number of reasons. Not only his ferocity and the way he was knocking guys out, but the way he was promoted, right? The promoters, Don King did his rah to get around Mike, and he was, a great promoter. But he wasn't having the promoters facing the camera all the time. It was about Mike knocking dudes out, and people loved that. Who's this guy? Who's this dude just fighting? He was fighting regularly, and Mike was just knocking dudes out. You didn't care who the dude actually was. You weren't studying who he was. You were just seeing Mike knocking dudes out. 1 round, 2 rounds, 1 round, 2 rounds, 1 round, 2 rounds. Brutally knocked out. And you wanted to see this guy move up to see if he actually could become a world champion. But he was beautifully promoted. Bill Caton and all those people at that time, they well promoted Mike. And they said it themselves. You look back in documentary, Mike was fighting bum of the week. But we didn't care about bum of the week. We were interested in Mike. Mike was the event. That was beautifully promoted. And that's the thing. And we have too many people in boxing talking today that don't understand the sport of boxing. A lot of people in boxing today, they don't even want to give history its credit and its due. I would start to disrespect fighters of yesteryear and say things like, Golovkin, he would have walked through Marvin Hagler. How, in what day, in what age? And stuff like that needs to be cut out. lot of these older trainers need to step up and start passing the torch on to the younger fighters, younger trainers, and the ones that want to learn. Because don't tell me that, they don't want to listen. No, well, there are people that do want to listen. And those people that do want to live them, charge them and set up master classes and set them and give something to the future. There's no point complaining about younger trainers saying, well, this trainer's not good, and that trainer's not good, and this trainer's not good, and he's not got it right, when you yourself have got the knowledge and not passing it on. No point. And I'm talking about what I do in my own sport, okay? And I've been in my sport 25 years. I'm not going to sit down and say, well, that coach is not good, and that coach is not good. I will go myself. If they want to listen, I'm going to give them that. Most of the time, they want to listen because they want to improve. And those are the sort of people I want to associate myself with. So really and truly, the trainers, the older trainers, the more experienced trainers, the proven trainers need to be putting their information out there, packaging it and putting it out there for future boxing trainers to learn, because that's the only thing that's going to save our sport. Otherwise, we're going to keep on getting mediocre fighters, average fighters at best, who don't have the skill set, right? Who don't have the skill set to go on to be great. Or if they do have the skill set to be great, ruined by poor trainers and poor tutelage. I'll give you two fighters that could have been all-time greats. Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua are two fighters that work with bang average trainers. And yes, they've gone on to be world champions. But could you imagine if they were under great tutelage? Could you imagine a Deontay Wilder under the tutelage of Emmanuel Stewart? It's not like Deontay Wilder was not in the gym with Emmanuel Stewart. Come on, we've given you the stories here on BWTM Sports exclusively. And then people have taken that story and moved with it with one cup of shit. So Joshua was in camp with Stewart and Bashir. Wilder was in camp. And they were in the Klitschko camp. And they trained, they train like world-class elite athletes. What does Joshua go and do? He sticks himself in an amateur gym in Sheffield. What does Wilder do? He hooks himself up with a guy who you probably is a Mark Brennan, who is a decent trainer, but he's got nothing at heavyweight nothing at heavyweight to say that he could be or he should be a head trainer ahead of someone like an Emmanuel Stewart, a James Allen Bashir, or any other heavyweight specialist. And who's Rob McCracken? No disrespect to Rob McCracken as a trainer and what he's done, but in the heavyweight elites, shouldn't be a real heavyweight elite trainer. Or at least a trainer who has got some proven at heavyweight. Yes, he did what he did with Carl Froch, and yes, he did well with great GBT, but we've seen in the amateur system does not. How many guys has he trained and the amateur system have gone out to be great champions? Even the guy you talk about, Carl Froch, had no defense. He had a great chin. If Froch didn't have a great chin, he'd been a bang average area title level fighter. Let's call things for what they are. Let's talk about things for what they are. We call people great promoters, but you can't put great fights together. You call you a great trainer, but you can't put out a decent game plan and you can't give out decent instructions in the corner. What makes you great? Oh, this guy's a great commentator. What makes you a great commentator? You can't call fights for what they are. So let's call things for what they are and stop talking rubbish about this fight has been exposed. Guy clearly has got issues. Guy clearly has got no discipline. Guy clearly needs some mentorship. Guy clearly has alcoholic issues. The guy clearly has issues at home. The guy clearly needs some form of protection. The guy clearly doesn't need to be out in them nightclubs. This girl clearly needs to be guided better in her career. Why is he taking that fight? What's the point? Mentorship, guidance, verification. That's what also needs to happen in boxing. Trainers need to be getting verified more. They need to be there needs to be stronger verification. Judges who constantly make poor judging decisions, they should be exposed. So all these judges make these poor decisions over and over again, be it week in, week out. They will sit on their asses and call fights. And we're paying pay-per-view money to get robbed by these judges. Huh? Think about that. Those judges clearly should be getting some sort of warning or some sort of disciplinary action. And the fact that judges, referees are being looked after by the promoter. So they have an in-bed relationship. So if the fight gets close, where's the conflict of it? How does in conflict interest doesn't tie into making a decision? Oh, I'm working on this promoter and I've got to make a decision here about scoring. And while I'm scoring, I've got to think about, he's put me up in a nice hotel. Yeah, he's supplied with girls every night. While I'm in these hotels, I'm living a life here. I'm getting paid. I'm getting it. How can you not think before? So there has to be a way that there has to be an independent scoring outside of the three judges. So afterwards, the independent, like how we have in football, for example, when a referee makes a decision, we can go to, like in cricket, for example, we go to a third umpire and we can watch the replay. So if there's a scoring decision that we're not agreeing with, within 24 hours, that independent panel can look at it and score every round, or within an hour of the fight, because they'll have the footage, they can go back, and their job independently is to go after round after round after round to score a controversial fight. And even that could be part of the boxing package. So at least you'll see justification there. Do you understand what I'm saying? So people can feel more, so the exposed thing. And if a guy is getting banned here for drug abuse, then a guy in America should get banned exactly the same way for exactly the same time, regardless of how much money you make in the sport. If Joe Bloggs is done for PEDs and Canelo gets done for PEDs, and they both should get banned for the same time. Universal. That's clear. So those are some areas we can look at there. And these trainers, put more pressure on these trainers. Corner cam. I want to hear what you're saying in that corner. And then after the fight, I want you to justify what you'll say in that corner. Because we're praising you as being a great trainer. You're the eyes for that. You're the eyes for that fighter. Let's hear what you're saying in that corner. That we can, Freddie Roach, great trainer. Adam Booth, great trainer. Shane McQueen, great trainer. Anytime there's a problem, these names keep getting banded out. But you see their work. Has Daniel Dubois improved since he's left his old trainer and gone to Shane McGuigan? No, McGuigan's not a heavyweight trainer. But it's okay. You'll continue to praise him. And what's Shane McGuigan's legacy? Where did he come from? I'm not knocking guys. I'm just pulling things out to what they are. Where did this guy come from? Oh, he had a dad who was a great fighter. So my dad was a great carpenter. Does that mean I'm going to be a great carpenter? Well, my dad can teach me a few things. Was my dad a great trainer? Barry McGuigan, is he a great trainer? Sam can be. I'm not saying because you haven't boxed or you haven't boxed at a certain level that you're not going to be a great trainer. I'm not saying that. But to ultimately be given that kudos because your dad was a great fighter. No. All those other trainers out there work years and years and years who've dedicated themselves to sport, dedicate themselves, not had the money, all the backing, all the name, and have pushed themselves 20, 30 years and not getting the recognition. Why does this fly-by-night come along and say, oh yeah, he's a great trainer? I don't get it and I don't understand. This is what's about being exposed. And what needs to happen is the people, the fighters, the trainers that are really doing the great work in boxing, they need to be uncovered and exposed for greatness. And stop exposing mediocrity. That's my challenge to boxing channels. That's my challenge to boxing journalism. And mediocre journalism, mediocre copy and paste journalism. asking mediocre questions. Did you get it? So when you talk about exposed, if something's mediocre, you're not exposing anything apart from yourself. You're exposing that you don't know much about the sport. If you come out and say, look, this guy from the start, bang, 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 drops his left hand, da 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 da, gives us a lay down, shows us the situation, you say, this is what it is. You've uncovered something. You've covered something there. Look, guy's not very good. You're giving him a lot of height. He's not very good. Jarron Ennis, he's been on Geovonta Ellis. He's been on this channel. I don't think he's a great fight. He's a good fighter. Rashidi Ellis, fast hands. Good fighter. Is he active enough? No. He got beat. Am I surprised? No. Geovonta Davis, he won last night. Well done. Am I expecting to get one morning ahead, Geovonta Davis gets knocked out? Quite possibly. Because these guys, as much as they're being good fighters and decent fighters, I don't hold them in my heart as great fighters. I heard the other day, they say, Geovonta Davis, one of the great lightweights. What makes it great? How many other great lightweights has he fought to be great? And that's the old Showtime stuff again, building up. You're being irresponsible and reckless. Geovonta Davis is a good fighter. He's a good fighter. He's a hard puncher, you know. But to call him a great fighter, whoa, hold on a second. Guy's a good fighter. He's got a good record. He's fought some good guys. Great? Whoa! Hold on with that stuff. And that's the problem, because when we start calling people great, then we have an expectation of what great is. And then when they don't meet that expectation mark, we start saying, oh, they've been exposed. No. You've got a low level of what greatness is. You've got a low bar of what greatness is. Look at great fighters from the past. Azuma Nelson, great fighter. Go back. There's probably loads of fighters we could talk about. Great fighters, lightweights we could go back and talk about. We'll talk about Pernell Whitaker. Great. So we could go back and talk about those fighters. But at the end of the day, ultimately, it's today. And there's a responsibility today to say, okay, they're not fighting in that era, but they're fighting in this era. Let's see them match up against other great fighters before we can define greatness. Because this word great is another word thrown around as much as exposed. So that's just my thoughts there. Let me check your comments in the comment section. Good morning, Vind. I hope you're well. Marilyn, hope you're well. So that's it. My thoughts are that. So it'll be Tank, Boots Ennis, Geovonta Davis, Ryan Garcia, all these young guns who we like, Rashidi Ellis, and the list goes on and on and on of fighters. Consistency, and then your trainer in the corner. How good is your trainer? That when they're in the corner, are they more doing Showtime work, meaning that it's about them than rather the fight itself? So this is something I want us to look at as boxing fans. I want to hear your opinion and your thoughts on this word exposed. I want to hear your thoughts and your opinions on the state of boxing today and whether our veteran trainers need to be passing on their knowledge. Thank you so much for watching on BWTM online. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, and for Ingram Jones, my personal channel, make sure you like, subscribe, and check out the other videos on the channel. Right, I think that's it from me on this Sunday morning. Maybe Sunday afternoon or even Sunday night for some of you. But anyway, again, you've been watching BWTM online. Until the next time, see you soon.